Yo, what's going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going over the week in NFL action. Yeah, we're just going to go through every game, talk about... I got to start talking about the records of each team because it's definitely going to become sentimental for the weeks to come. There's only 6 weeks left in the season, so... Let's start off with the Thursday night game, New England and Falcons, and man, did the New England Patriots shut them out. The swaggering Pats stifle the Falcons, beat them by 25 for the 5th straight victory. They're looking to make it to the playoffs over the Bills. The Bills have been struggling. We'll get to their game in a second. Matt Ryan, 153 yards and 2 interceptions, but Mac Jones, 22 for 26, 207 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Running-wise, Stevenson, 69 yards rushing, pretty good on his part. Receiving-wise, Kendrick Bourne had a nice 4 receptions for 42, and Gage had 5 receptions for 49. We're going to move on to Sunday. The Packers interception. There were a couple ref issues. I'm not going to make an excuse. I'm kind of biased because it's my favorite team. It's unfortunate. I'm not mad, though. Vikings outlast Rodgers, and the Packers beat us by 3 on the game-ending field goal. Greg Joseph actually hits it this time. Rodgers, though, he had one of the best games of his season, 385 for 4 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins, 341 and 3 touchdowns. So really a very consistent QB battle there. A.J. Dillon had 53 yards rushing, and Dalvin Cook had 86 and a touchdown. Valdes-Scantling, have a day, my man. 123 yards and a touchdown. He played even better than Devontae did. And Justin Jefferson, who's going to stop the guy? 169 yards for 2 touchdowns. He destroyed us. There was a controversial, push-off thing. It didn't really look like a push-off when you look at the replays, but, yeah. Next, we're going to actually talk about the Bills and Colts. Jonathan Taylor runs up the score with 5 touchdowns. The Colts beat the Bills by 26. We're used to the Bills knocking teams out. Carson Wentz really won off of 106 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor with the best performance out of any player I've seen all year. But Josh Allen, he had 209 for 2 touchdowns and 2 terrible throws. People are kind of calling him overrated. I don't know about that, but rushing-wise, Matt Breida, the former 49er, had 51 yards rushing, so that's solid. And Jonathan Taylor had 185 for 4 freaking touchdowns. Passing-wise, Knox had 80 yards receiving, which is pretty awesome. And Jack Doyle had 30 yards receiving for the Colts. Not really a passing game. It was more of a rushing game. But yeah, congratulations to the Colts. For winning games and getting above 500 there. We'll move on to Ravens and Bears. This one was sloppy. Devontae Freeman's touchdown lifts the Ravens over the Bears with Lamar Jackson's sideline. Let me tell you, the Bears are the worst franchise in the league right now. I don't even care. Screw the 0-9-1 Lions. How are you going to lose to the Ravens without Hollywood Brown or Lamar? How are you going to do it? You played against a second-year quarterback that hasn't had an NFL snap in his lifetime. And to top it off, he had 219 yards on your head. He may not have scored, but he had 219 yards. He outpassed Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton had 201 for 2 touchdowns. Andy Dalton overall had a better game, but freaking Huntley had more yards. That's crazy. Devontae Freeman, again, very pivotal player in this game, 49 yards and a touchdown. And David Montgomery had 58. Receiving-wise, Mark Andrews, are we really surprised he's the leading receiver? 73 yards. And Darnell Mooney had a really good game, 121 yards and a touchdown. But the Bears, you guys got to do better, man. I don't know. Another very sloppy game coming up is the Lions and the Browns. Nick Chubb runs for 130 yards. The Browns hold off the winless Lions, win by 3. The Lions have been putting up a fight recently. That Dan Campbell pride is really getting to them. Tim Boyle, the former Packer, 77 yards and 2 picks off of 15 for 23. That's the worst quarterback performance I've seen all year. Baker Mayfield had an equally bad one, though, with 176 and a touchdown and 2 picks. 4 picks in between the quarterbacks. This is an impoverished franchise-type game. DeAndre Swift, man, this was a battle of the run game. DeAndre Swift, he is a freaking workhorse. 136 yards and a touchdown. Nick Chubb, 130. Honestly, DeAndre Swift had the better game. But anyways, receiving-wise, it was the battle of the tight ends between Austin Hooper and T.J. Hockenson. Love to see that. Hockenson had 51, and Hooper had 53. Sloppy game, but congratulations to the Browns for getting over 500. And it's crazy that those Ravens won. They're now 7-3. An upset coming up in the flesh. Honestly, that Ravens game was an upset, but another upset here is Titans and Texans. Texans snap an 8-game skid and the Titans 6-game streak, and they win by 9. Tannehill, 323 yards, a touchdown, 4 interceptions. I don't think I've seen a quarterback throw 4 interceptions this year besides Mike White, maybe. Tyrod Taylor, 14 for 24, 170 yards. At least he didn't throw any picks, but he also didn't score for them. Houston, Rex Burkhead, he used to be on the Patriots, 40 yards. AP for the Titans. I mean, congratulations to him for getting reps. He had 40 yards. Westbrook for Tennessee had 107 yards passing or receiving, and not Chris Conley, that's the wrong player. Conley for Houston at 37. Upset. I mean, Titans got to do better. Dolphins and Jets coming up. Dolphins win their 3rd straight. They top the Jets and win by a touchdown, which I kind of expected them to win by more. Joe Flacco played. Awesome. 291 for 2 touchdowns. That's why it was a close game. You know, you got a veteran, Joe Flacco, coming out and get some snaps. I love to see that. I mean, Joe Flacco could lead this team to a couple more wins this year. Tagovailoa, though, 273 for 2 touchdowns and interceptions. I mean, Joe Flacco, first game in a while, and he still outplayed Tua. Running-wise, Myles Gaskin had a nice 89 yards. Carter had 63. Receiving-wise, Elijah Moore? Is that who the Jets receiver is? Let me look at his name. Yeah, Elijah Moore. 141 for a touchdown, and Hollins had 72 yards for a touchdown for Miami. Yeah, good stuff there. Saints and Eagles. That was a game I was definitely looking forward to. It looked very promising, and I mean, Jalen Hurts runs for 3 scores. The Eagles beat the Saints by 11. Trevor Siemian, can we talk about how consistent this guy has been? He has thrown 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in like 3 of his 4 starts. But he had 2 picks, so I mean, I guess that cost him the game. Hurts, 13 for 24, 147. That's like honestly good for how many times he actually completed the passes. Miles Sanders, Philadelphia, man, your boy Miles Sanders is back. He had 94 yards. I haven't heard his name in quite some time. Melvin Ingram for the Saints, 88 yards. Pretty good. Honestly, a really good all-around game. Probably the best all-around game I've seen in a while. Smith for New Orleans had 64 yards, and Dallas Goedert, 62. Gotta love to see a tight end get up there. Washington and Panthers. Taylor Heinicke in Washington spoiled Newton's homecoming, and they won by 6. This was Cam Newton's first home game back in Carolina. Taylor Heinicke was having none of that. He was dealing today. 206 for 3 touchdowns. Cam Newton did have 189 and 2 touchdowns. No picks in that game. That's a miracle. Wow, really good. On paper, the matchup rushing-wise was good with McCaffrey and Gibson. Gibson definitely outdid him. 95 yards, and McCaffrey at 59. Pretty good receiving it, but then again, McCaffrey did have 60 yards for a touchdown receiving, so overall he had more total yards. Scary Terry, man, 5 receptions, 103 yards, and a touchdown. He was making some great grabs. Yeah. Let us move on into 49ers and Jaguars. Garoppolo throws 2 touchdowns. 49ers dominate the Jaguars, beating them by 20. Deebo Samuel, one of the most versatile offensive players in the league. You know, he's running the ball now. 79 yards through 8 carries and a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence had 158 yards. At least he didn't throw a pick. Garoppolo had 176 for 2 touchdowns, though, so obviously he got outplayed. Jerome Robinson, 29 yards in the touchdown, kind of a letdown game for him. But Marvin Jones, the vet, sort of, 52 yards receiving. And Brandon Ayuk had 85 yards in the touchdown receiving. A lot of people are disappointed in Brandon Ayuk, but you know he came out and played really well. Let's get into the Bengals and the Raiders. Bengals snap a skid, topple the slumping Raiders, win by 19. I mean, the Raiders are definitely a cursed team to look at this year. A lot of DUIs, a lot of controversy in the locker room, other things like that. Derek Carr, man, I thought he was going to be the MVP at the start of the year. The first, 3-4 weeks, he played amazing. 215 yards, a touchdown, and a pick, and Burrow had 148 and a touchdown. Pretty disappointed in Derek Carr. I actually like Derek Carr. I actually want Derek Carr to succeed, but it's unfortunate. Joe Mixon, a workhorse type of game, 123 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, meanwhile, just 37. Tyler Boyd receiving wise for Cincinnati had 49 yards. I don't know what's happening to Jamar Chase, but I guess they can't complain. They're winning games. Darren Waller proving he's one of the best tight ends in the league. 7 catches, 116 yards. 99 of Derek Carr's pass yards went to someone other than Waller, so that's crazy. But yeah, good game. Congratulations to the Bengals on that win. Cowboys and Chiefs. This game was kind of a letdown. It was a little scrappy. Chiefs lean on the defense to stuff. I just saw something. Okay. Chiefs lean on defense to stuff Dak Prescott and the Cowboys in a 10-point win. What the fuck was that? Okay, anyways. Dak Prescott, 216 yards, 2 interceptions. Not the game you want to see out of Dak Prescott. Mahomes had 260 yards and an interception. Not a single passing yard touchdown this game. But, you know, Edwards-Helaire had to carry the load for KC with 63 yards and a touchdown. Troy Pollard had 50 yards rushing, so I guess that's not bad. Oh, my God. I'm tripping out. Okay. Schultz for the Cowboys had 53 yards receiving, and Tyreek Hill had a nice little 77. Pretty average for Tyreek Hill. You know, he's up there for receiving yards, so KC pulled out another very scrappy win. I guess whatever it takes to win. Disappointing, though, for the Cowboys. Cardinals, Seahawks. I was really hoping the Seahawks were going to win this game. I was actually kind of rooting for them. I do not like them being 30-7. You know, I respect Russell Wilson, even though they're a big rivalry with the Packers in the playoffs. Colt McCoy leads the Cardinals to a decisive 10-point win over the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, 207 yards, but really nothing other than that. Man, Colt McCoy, 328 for 2 touchdowns. James Conner, 62 yards rushing for a touchdown. Offense was firing on all cylinders. Alex Collins, a.k.a. Lynch Jr., had 36 yards rushing. Tyler Lockett, though, 4 receptions for 115. I don't know where DK is. He kind of disappeared. But Zach Ertz, 88 yards for 2 touchdowns. Give that man a raise. He just signed with you guys, and he's making an impact without DeAndre Hopkins, so that's awesome. Getting into the Sunday night game, we're going to get in the Monday night game, and then we'll be done. We have Chargers, Steelers, pretty entertaining game. Justin Herbert throws for 382 yards. Chargers hold off the Steelers, and he also had 3 touchdowns and just 1 pick, which is pretty good. For throwing 30 passes, like 41 passes, that's really good. Ben Roethlisberger, 273 yards and 3 touchdowns. Honestly, Ben Roethlisberger played good. I know people have hated on him this year, but Ben Roethlisberger played really good. They just fell short, you know. Najee Harris, 39 yards and a touchdown. Justin Herbert rushing 90 yards. That means he had a total of 472 yards. Lamar Jackson level performance right there. And Keenan Allen, man, he's going to impress. 9 receptions, 112 yards. And Deontay Johnson, I mean, he was all over the field. He was killing people in fantasy left and right. He had 7 receptions for 101 and a touchdown. So, good game. Steelers, nothing to be ashamed of. You guys put up 37 points. Pretty awesome there. Giants, Buccaneers, this was just a shit game, honestly. Tom Brady throws 2 touchdowns. Buccaneers beat the Giants by 10. You know, Eli Manning, it's kind of funny. Eli Manning was watching the young version of him play tonight. No disrespect to Eli. They, look the same, though. That's why I say that. Daniel Jones, 167 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. He was throwing some fucking horrible throws. I don't know what he was thinking, but on the other hand, Tom Brady, 307, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. So, pretty good for Tom Brady. Saquon, man, he's just disappointing. 25 yards rushing. Leonard Fournette, 35 yards rushing. Pretty bad rushing-wise. Kadarius Toney, 40 yards. Mike Evans, 73 yards and a touchdown. Overall, not a very impressive game. I was not entertained. I stopped watching in, the 3rd quarter. I thought the Giants were going to come back. They choke and choke and choke. Every time they get into an opponent's side of the field, they just choke their fucking ass off. No different here. It's just unfortunate, you know. It's not something you want to see. But anyways, and there were a lot of penalties thrown too, so that was kind of disappointing. But anyways, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It's been GZTV. Tomorrow, we're going to play Guardians of the Galaxy, as well as give you guys a hip-hop, I'm thankful for hip-hop because type of video, corny or not. I'm going to give you guys some rankings this week. It's Thanksgiving week. I got to give you guys some stuff in appreciation for hip-hop. We're going to do that tomorrow.